Hello, friends. Welcome to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown for Tuesday, August 22nd. We got a fun slate, a lot of stuff to go over. I'm going to start off by letting you know in 12 days we will be raising our prices. That is also the kickoff for NFL season. Now, if you are already a LineStar member, do not worry. Your price that you are paying in right now is locked in for one more year. However, if you are considering coming into LineStar, you should probably do it now. The price is $29.99. It is going up to $39.99 for kickoff of NFL season. So get in now while you can. It's a good spot. Got to do it. Come join us. Get involved with the props. Involved in the DFS, get involved in the community and the conversations. It's fun. It's a fun thing to be a part of, and I am enjoying my time here. I think you will too. All right, now let's talk about the slate and the rest of this show. We're going to start off by talking about yesterday's slate, the perfect lineups, the winning lineups, then get into the pitcher ownership, followed by some stacks and stacks to consider. So let's get going. Shall we? All right, perfect lineup here. We got Castillo. All right, so we'll just do FanDuel first. We got Luis Castillo. Got a little Pittsburgh stack, a little Astros stack. Nice little lineup there. Just shy of all the salary and 380 points. And the winner, first, we'll shout out BKP Dad, or AKA Not So Awesomeo in chat. He had sixth place last night. Got $1,500 for a nice little lineup. He had a four-man stack of Seattle, then some one-offs that really paid off. Nice work. Great lineup construction. Love to see it. Now the winner, Jeff Sam, had 316 points, had Castillo, had Cal Riley, and then a three-man stack of Pitt and one-offs outside of that. So congrats to Jeff Sam. Nice lineup. Way to get it done. And let's check out DK. So Falter, Castillo, Mariner stack, Pirate stack. Got it done. And, didn't use all the salary, 294 points. And the winner was Pondo Smith, 225 points. He was a single bullet. It was a single entry that won it. And he had Blackburn. He had Castillo. And all one-offs except for a little Atlanta stack that was a cheap Atlanta stack. So congrats to him. I wouldn't recommend doing this lineup construction. I like to lean into correlation a little bit more. But every now and then you can hit the nuts, and he pretty much hit the nuts. So congrats to him, and let's get on to today's slate. So we got Carlos Rodon, 35% owned, is the highest owned pitcher. Now we only have him at 1.9x, 14% or point projection. He hasn't been good all season. Don't know why he would start now, but it is against Washington, who isn't that great. However, versus lefties, Woba 375, 165 ISO. Who Washington hits is lefties. And Carlos Rodon has not been good, and he's coming off the IL and just went 5 innings in a simulated game. He did not throw in the minors, no warm-up assignments, just the simulated game. So he may be slightly on a pitch count or monitored today. If there's chalk to get off, I think it's Rodon. Now, he has been absolutely great in his career. We just haven't seen it yet this season. All right, Blake Snell, next highest owned. He's got the Marlins. He's in a decent spot here. They hit the ball hard versus lefties, but they have a low WOBA, strike out a decent amount, and Snell's just been amazing all season. Now, he hasn't been as good as he was in June, but I still don't mind him, and you could do worse than going to Snell. He has some nice K upside. Don't mind going there. The one thing with him is he is allowing a lot of guys on base, 6.1 walks per 9. He's also allowing the guys to steal a lot of bases. So it wouldn't be that hard for the Marlins to get in a couple runs. It's just, will he have enough Ks to really make up for that? All right, Lucas Giolito, 1.8x. I actually like Giolito a lot today. I think there is big time upside in this matchup. The Reds strike out almost 27%. They are a good offense, but Giolito, when he's on, can really crush. And this, I think, is a matchup that he could crush in. Combined K rate of 26%. It is a little bit risky, but it is a little lower owned, and there is some high upside. Next, we got G-Rod. I think G-Rod is going way under owned here. 2.9 FIP since coming back up to the major leagues, and he's just been incredible. He has a tough matchup, but at his price with his upside, I think it is a very wise choice to go to G-Rod, especially at his ownership. Zach Gallen, I think he is a little overpriced. However, he is a great pitcher and averaging 50% more fantasy points while home. So he is interesting. I will probably have a little bit, but 11K is just a steep price for a guy that only has a 23% K rate. So I won't have very much of him, but hard to fade one of the best pitchers on the slate. Brian Wu, I'm out on. He is just coming off the injured list, and he hasn't had a rehab start, and I believe that he will be limited 60-70 pitches, something like that. Bobby Miller just doesn't really have the upside. I'm looking to see it 8,600 versus a team that doesn't strike out that much. But he isn't a bad option. His median projection is great. I just don't know if his ceiling is really there. Yusei Kikuchi is low owned, and this guy has been dealing over the last month. 1.66 FIP, 27% K rate. I think he's in a good spot. He's averaging less fantasy points away, though, and he's versus a good Baltimore team, which is keeping his ownership low, but he still does have some nice upside here. Baltimore does seemingly score a couple runs versus him every single game. So unless he's striking out big time, you're not going to get a giant score from him. But the upside is there, and he could do it. Hogan Harris is my what are you thinking, Tyler, play of the day. He is the likely starter. Nothing is confirmed yet, so keep that in mind. But he has some nice upside at 5,900. He can strike out guys. KC matchup doesn't scare me off. Nobody's going there. It's interesting is all I'm going to say about that. Verlander, he's been pitching really well. He's at home where he averages more fantasy points. He's used to pitching in Houston. Boston hits righties well, but Verlander can definitely shut them down and does have some upside there. 1.8x value at 1,700 isn't terrible. I think Wade Miley could do all right. He's another cheap pivot you could do. Minnesota strikes out a decent amount versus lefties, and when he's on, he has some K upside. It's just rare that he's on. 2.1x value, 13 points there. Luzardo, never know what we're going to get out of Luzardo these days. He's looked really bad lately, but started the season on fire. And got to bring up Ashcraft here. So Angels strike out a lot versus righties, 26%. They do hit righties very hard. But Ashcraft, when he's on, has nice little upside. 27 points, 21, 24, 25 at 8,400. It's a little interesting. Nobody's going to go there because the projection's low and likely low across the industry. But I think it is a little bit interesting. Just a little bit. Not major. All right, let's get into FanDuel now. Now, our FanDuel perfect lineup, or projected ownership here. We got Blake Snell, 10.3K. I think it makes a lot more sense here for FanDuel for Snell, 29%. He's in a good spot. I like Snell. Don't mind going there. I will not try and talk you off of him. Has huge upside. Lucas Giolito, decently owned here. He is an inconsistent pitcher. When he's on, he's really on. When he's off, he's really off. So I don't mind taking some swings here. I think there is some big upside today, but I don't love it. Carlos Rodon is insanely cheap for his upside, but he's been terrible lately, so hard for me to fully go there. But at 20% owned with his upside, he is interesting at least. Brian Woo's off limits for me, not going there. I do like Grayson Rodriguez at 6% owned, 8,200. He's in a good spot. Zach Gallen is very interesting to me at 10.5K at home, where he's way better. So I do like that. Probably not going to Hogan Harris here on FanDuel, but I would consider Verlander. Wade Miley is cheap enough that I would still consider him, or Ashcraft. Outside of those guys, I'm sticking to the higher owned guys most likely. So let's get into the little stack attacks now. If you guys hear my dog barking, I'm sorry. I had to put him outside because I have a plumber here because I made a mistake yesterday or Sunday night, and while mounting a TV, I unintentionally drilled into a pipe, and so I had water shooting all over the room. Turned off the water. Haven't had water for a couple days now, but hopefully it'll be fixed shortly. All right, now that story time's over and I'm done making a fool of myself, let's check out the ownership here. So Atlanta Braves highest owned, no surprise. McGill's in a great spot, or Braves are in a great spot versus McGill. We got nice hitting weather. It's warm, mid 90s, winds blowing out. Braves should crush the slate. Just understand they're expensive, and you're going to need to get a little different with them. Use some of the back-end lineup guys to get a little cheaper and have it value to make it work. Outside of that, I see why people are going to good old Braves. Dodgers are popping up a little bit. Syndergaard hasn't been very good. The other thing with Syndergaard is he lets a lot of guys steal bases. So there is an extra little bump for any of the Dodgers that have some speed. Next, the highest projected here. Highest projected, we got Dodgers, we got Braves, we got Mariners. Mariners been hitting very, very well lately. Hopefully J-Rod is back in the lineup tonight. Clevenger has been good the last 5, but I don't think he's magically learned how to pitch again. Just don't think he's that good at this stage in his career. So I makes sense to go there when they're not that high owned either. All right, value wise, let's check it out. And Pittsburgh versus Waino. I think you gotta have some interest in Pitt. They're cheap. Waino has been bad. Borderline terrible, and he was a little bit better last start, but I don't know if he can keep that up. He seems pretty washed to me. White Sox versus Woo. Woo's been pretty good, not as good versus lefties, but I think he is on a bit of a pitch count today, so we'll be careful with that one. KC versus the A's. I mean, anytime you're versus the A's, it's interesting. Cleveland versus Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller hasn't really got blown up. He is a decent pitcher. Don't love this spot, but don't hate it. And, Cleveland's not a terrible play. Both the Angels and the Reds, I think, are interesting. They're going to be low owned, and both have some nice upside and a high variance game. So do not mind that. Now we got some ceiling here. And our ceiling plays gonna be Houston versus Tanner Huck. So this makes a little bit of sense to me. Houston's been hitting well. Tanner's, an okay pitcher, but I like the spot for Houston, very low owned. Seattle's in a good spot, as we talked about. And those are pretty much the higher ceiling teams, all of which do make a little bit of sense today. All in all, I think this is going to be a very fun slate. The weather is nice across all of baseball. A lot of fun places to go. My favorite stacks are definitely the Braves, Pittsburgh, Astros, I I don't love the Angels, but I see you can go there. The Mets is another one. It's the best hitting environment. Elder's been a decent pitcher here, but he can get got, and good hitting weather makes it interesting. Dodgers, I like picking on Syndergaard. He lets a lot of stolen bases. Seattle makes sense. We didn't talk about St. Louis. They do make some sense too. Arizona can absolutely get to John Gray. However, John Gray has been very good lately, 2.69 FIP. He's been a little more the guy we expected. And yeah, that's about it as far as the stacks. Those are definitely my favorite. I also want to throw San Diego in there because Luzardo has been very bad lately. And if he's walking guys, letting on base, San Diego absolutely can make him pay, and they will be super low owned. Also, Cincinnati's a little interesting. Giolito is a little bit higher owned, so Cincinnati's going to be low owned, and Giolito is inconsistent. He can give up 7 runs, or he can strike out 10 and allow no runs. So high variant spot is one I like to attack in DFS, and that is absolutely one for today. Vegas doesn't like it though, but because of that, it's going to be low ownership. So I'll probably sprinkle it in. All right, guys, you have a good one. We will be back tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.